On the 1st of July 1969, the eyes of the world were on this medieval castle to watch His Royal Highness Prince Charles be formally invested with the title Prince of Wales. Today, 50 years on, I'm in Caernarfon to reflect on that momentous occasion and to explore the rich history of this beautiful part of North Wales. Welcome to Songs of Praise. On today's programme, I discover the historic and religious significance of the investiture ceremony, an event watched by 500 million people.
A ser amlwg, y myd y ffilmiau.
Pam Rhodes explores a subject very close to Prince Charles's heart today, the plight of persecuted Christians.
I was so terrified why they are going to attack on me because of I'm Christian.
And local Christian James Lusted explains how his faith helped him accept his physical disability.
God created me the way I am for a reason. We should love God and we should love people, therefore we'll love life.
Our music today comes from across Wales and is a mixture of traditional and modern hymn. And we begin not far from here in Bangor with a song that invites us to come just as we are to worship. Years ago tomorrow, a 20-year-old Prince Charles was formally invested with the title Prince of Wales by his mother, Her Majesty the Queen. Around the world, a staggering 500 million people watched on television. It was an event with roots stretching back to the time this great fortress was built 7 centuries ago. Dr. Kate Roberts is an expert in the castle's history.
There is a link between the castle and Princes of Wales ever since the birth of Edward of Caernarfon, who was supposedly born in this very castle in 1284. After that, a tradition has held that the firstborn son of the reigning monarch becomes the Prince of Wales. So there is a link there.
Wow, So Kate, take me back 700 years. What would have been the sights, sounds, smells even of this place?
Well, I think it would have been noisy, that's for sure. It was probably a building site. If you look, one of the things that really people notice when they come to Caernarfon is everywhere you see bits of stone sticking out of the walls, and that's where it was never finished. So most of the time you were here, there were probably bits of work taking place, walls being built, carpenters, all sort of working on various bits of the castle.
So why was this castle built?
This castle was built by Edward I. He started in 1283, which was just after he had effectively conquered this area. He built 4 great castles, which he intended to use to hold down any possibility of uprising in the area and also to govern it. So it's a castle, it's a palace, it's a centre of administration, and for many people it was a home.
And what about worship and faith in the castle? How was that included in everyday life?
Well, religion, of course, was very important in the medieval world, and Christians were expected to pray daily. So since this was a home, they needed to have facilities so that they could pray. Any castle, you're going to find chapels, and I think here there must be 6 or 7 spread throughout the castle.
Really?
And then somewhere there should also be a main garrison chapel, if you like. I wonder in this one whether that's actually the one that's in the gatehouse, which is my favourite chapel because I think it's a little bit unusual. It has some very wonderful, very fine windows that probably had stained glass in them, and it has a little piscina where the holy water would have been. That must have been the chapel that the garrison was using.
And when we think of castles, we think of the fairy tale. Was this castle that, or was it simply a fortress?
Of all the castles in Wales, possibly this is one that does have some fairy tale aspects to it. Look at it. It's so different from all the others. If you go around Wales, you see so many castles with their round towers, whereas these are all sort of angular and stripy with different coloured stone. It was meant to look a bit like a fairy tale castle. It was meant to look like a mythological castle. So perhaps there was an aspect of that, but most of the time it was probably just filled with soldiers. When you see people visiting and you see the looks on the faces when they come in and they see a castle, and it just fills the imagination of what life might have been.
On that summer day in 1969, tens of thousands packed the streets of Caernarfon to catch a glimpse of the young prince. With millions tuning in on television, it remains the most watched event ever held in Wales. Kate, this was an event on an unprecedented scale for Wales, wasn't it?
I think it was. The investiture of Prince Charles here in Caernarfon Castle on this slate dais that we can still see here. The dais was erected there in 1969. It's made of Welsh slate from Dinorwic Quarry, just down the road at Llanberis. And the quarry also built the 3 thrones, the kneeling stool and the lectern, which were used in that ceremony 50 years ago.
Faith was very much at the heart of the ceremony. All the major church denominations were represented and joined in prayers for the new Prince of Wales. Organisers incorporated many different elements of Welsh culture into the day, particularly as the event was not universally popular among the Welsh people, given the history of English monarchs becoming Princes of Wales.
Ein harglwydd Iesu Grist.
Many Welsh elements were brought into the day, weren't they?
There were. Prince Charles gave his speech in Welsh and had spent some time in Aberystwyth University learning Welsh.
Hen hanes y Brython, ac sydd wedi cynhyrchu.
Which is impressive.
Which is impressive. And there in 1969, broadcasting the events from this spot to millions across the globe.